So let's talk about how you do a burning bowl ceremony. This is one of those physical things that's really a spiritual thing, that's really a symbolic thing. And you do it to release the stuff that doesn't serve you anymore and replace it with, like, usually limiting beliefs or resentment or fears that don't serve you, and you replace it with ones that do. I learned it at the Unity Church, which we do every New Year's Eve. We do that. I was having breakfast with Tim and Julie today, and I was telling them it doesn't work for me to do it once a year. I accumulate so much baggage over the course of a year. I usually end up doing it 2 or 3 times a year. And that's the great thing about it, is you can do it anytime. You just make today my January 1st. So how do you do a burning bowl ceremony? You get a piece of paper. For you guys who don't know, we're in Phuket, Thailand, on an island off of Thailand, just on the coast, and so that's why where we're doing this here. But you get a piece of paper, so you write on the left side anything that doesn't serve you, anything you want to let go of. So let's say you think, I'm really jealous, and that doesn't help my relationship. So you say, I'm going to let go of jealousy this year. I'm going to let go of fear, or I've got a problem with procrastination, or I've got a limiting belief about being wealthy, or I've got a limiting belief about being healthy. And so you write down on the left side all of the things that you want to let go of this year or this time. Then on the right side of the paper, you write the opposite, the corresponding thing in the opposite direction that you want to replace it with. So you want to, like resentment. I mean, how many of us go around with resentment and we hang on to that? And the truth is that revenge and resentment, that doesn't serve us. That just creates a blockage in our heart, in our psyche. And anybody who knows anything about prosperity knows you've got to create a vacuum to let prosperity come in. So whenever I see somebody blocked with prosperity, usually the very number one question I ask is, what are you holding on to that you need to be releasing? So if, like victimhood, we all, let me not affirm that. See, I was about to affirm a negative thing. But in the past, I bet a lot of us, myself included, have wanted to hold on to victimhood because it gets us sympathy, it gets us empathy, it gives us a validation or excuse for why we haven't accomplished everything that we want to accomplish. So we can say, well, I was doing this and then a meteorite landed on my car and crushed my garage, and then the economy went bad and the president did this and my partner stole money with this. And I went through that for 30 years. I just went from tragedy to tragedy to tragedy, and I blamed it on the economy and the road construction in front of my business and my crooked partner. And finally, after all of these failures and like 11 negative dysfunctional relationships in a row and all this trials and trauma and drama, I finally had to say, is there one person who was always at the scene of the crime? And of course, that was me. So I didn't like the answer, but that was it. So I had to say, well, am I holding on to being a victim? Give you an example. One of the things that I did last year when I did my burning bowl ceremony, one of the times, was I released injuries in softball. Because I'm playing softball all the time, as you guys know. So I play 3-4 teams at a time. And I broke a finger, I broke a wrist, and I played through it. I broke a finger in a tournament. I still went up to bat with a broken finger, hit a home run, won the championship. So I had this hero's journey story. And then I had to ask myself, am I manifesting these injuries just to give myself a better story? Like, do we manifest going bankrupt so that we can have our rags to riches story? Do we manifest a divorce so we can, have a better relationship story? So if you're holding on to victimhood, you can't have victory because your mind can't process those two conflicting thoughts. So I let go of injuries, and now I've had this whole year with no injuries. I've played amazing, better than I've ever played my whole time. I'm playing shortstop now. I'm going to be 50 years old on my next birthday, and they got me playing shortstop in one of my leagues, which should be a young man's position. But I'm just getting in better shape because I decided that doesn't serve me anymore. So anyway, back to the burning bowl. You write these things on the left side of the page that you want to release. On the right side of the page, you can write the things you want to replace them with. And then kind of an optional thing is you can write a letter to yourself or you can write a letter to God or the universe or nature or whatever your particular belief is. So if you write a letter to yourself, it's kind of good if you give it to a friend and say, I want you to mail this to me 90 days from now or 120 days from now. And so you write, Dear Randy, okay, it's now been 4 months since you did the burning bowl. One of the things you decided to release was injuries, and this was what you were going to let go of resentment, and you were going to let go of anger and replace it with love. And then it's kind of a check-in thing. Or you can write a thing to the universe or to God or to the angels, or like I say, whatever your belief is. So you take those good things on the right side of the paper that you want, and you kind of write a letter to whoever, and then you rip the paper in half, and you take the left side, which has all those things you want to release, you put it in a bowl, and you set it on fire. And you know, fire is such a spiritual, purifying thing. So it's a physical thing. You burn those things up, and they return to the nothingness from which they came. And on a spiritual level, it's just a symbolic thing. It's a spiritual thing. It's a physical thing. So like I say, you could do this 3 times a year, 4 times a year. You could do it on your balcony. You could do it in your, in your driveway, whatever, anytime, and just burn up what isn't serving you. Let it go. Create a vacuum where the good stuff can come in. Figure out what you want to replace it. That's what the burning bowl is, and I think it's just a wonderful cleansing spiritual thing that all of us could do whenever we need. So thanks for joining me. I'm Randy Gage here in Phuket, Thailand, hanging out with my friends Tim and Julie. Hope you're having a great day.